Radio News online at fppradio.com.
Shortly after Seattle area consulting firm Brink and Tiller received a resume from Corey Wilhelm, a college graduate with a Bachelor's of Arts degree in communications, Human Resources Director Robert Bradshaw immediately fast-tracked Wilhelm's application and spoke with The Onion about this exceptional candidate.
Well, the second I saw Corey's resume, I knew I had to send it straight up to our CEO. I mean, we're talking about an applicant who not only got into the University of Washington School of Communication, but also managed to graduate in 4 years with a Bachelor of Arts. This kid's only 22, but according to his resume, he already has experience in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. We're really going to have to move fast to get this guy.
Bradshaw went on to say that company heads could barely believe the candidate had 2 years of experience working at his college newspaper and had even taken a full 4 years of high school Spanish. Since receiving the application, Bradshaw claims the company has made numerous attempts to reach Wilhelm.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We invite you to take control of the airwaves and bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
Wow. I was blown away last night by a news headline that I saw within one of our industry publications. So
I knew you'd be excited by this one.
It took me 3 weeks to catch up to the email, but I'm perennially behind on these things. But wow, what this headline was about was a pirate radio station. Every now and then the radio industry will get some sort of news from the FCC or some other news source about somebody getting busted for running an illegal radio operation, or at least something that the federal government has regulations against. Whether that makes it illegal or not is another question, because the feds can't actually charge you with a criminal act for it, at least not yet. There are some representatives or senators who have talked about having a federal crime created around operating a transmitter without government permission, but it doesn't exist yet. It does, however, exist in the states of Florida and New York. There, I believe, is a misdemeanor charge in those states, which I don't know if the article addresses this. The summary, though, was amazing, and it's about a popular pirate radio station in Miami that has been hit with a $144,000 fine, which is the largest amount allowed under the FCC regulations. It's the most interesting part of this story, though, is the fact that this particular pirate radio station, many of which are, flashes in the pan. They come, they exist, the feds come, the feds threaten them, they shut down, it's over. That's typically kind of how the pirate radio thing happens.
Right.
Usually,
usually nothing else happens, right? Like, there's no punishment.
If you shut down when they send you the threatening letter, then there's no punishment.
Right. So that's what happens generally.
But if somebody holds on and they ignore the threatening letter, they might get a raid and lose their equipment and be issued a fine.
Best I can tell, 90-something% of the cases are people pirate broadcast, the feds show up, the feds send a threatening letter,
and they turn off the power
switch. People shut off everything, and nothing more is said or done.
That has been the case certainly here in Keene, New Hampshire, where there have been 4 or 5 different pirate radio stations in operation over the last 7 years. And some have lasted for as long as 8 or 9 months, while others have only been around for 2 to 4 months. So it just all depends on who complains and how quickly the FCC bureaucrats can get on the job. And again, most people who are running a pirate radio station, they're not there to fight the federal government. They wanted to play their favorite music or whatever.
Right.
And fun's over. Let's pack it up, go home. That's it. In this case, this station has been around for 24 years.
It's a long time.
That's an incredibly long time for somebody to continue to operate without government permission slips, to ignore other fines that have been issued against them. And let's let the Miami Herald, which did a really detailed report on this situation, talk about it here. Jacqueline Charles reporting, it's the pulse of the Haitian music industry in Miami, organizing some of the most popular big-ticket parties while promoting bands and guiding compa music fans to the next hit. But radio, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, Touch Deuce or Touche Douce? Touch Deuce is a pirate radio station, an underground operation that the federal government... Well, you've been to Haiti, Mark. It's French down there, right?
Right.
Touche, maybe?
I don't know, man.
All right. Well, if Vincent were here, he'd probably know. Touche Douce or Touch Deuce is a pirate radio station, an underground operation the federal government is accusing of illegally broadcasting from a shed in a North Miami backyard. Fed up with the station's, quote, egregious, intentional, and repeated violations, the Federal Communications Commission has hit the station and owner Fabrice Polynice, a.k.a. DJ Paz, with a proposed $144,344 fine, the largest amount allowed under FCC regulations. Two commission officials told the Miami Herald they can't recall the last time a station was hit so hard. Quote, there's nothing funny about pirate radio, which interferes with the lawful use of the airwaves and can disrupt public safety communications.
I think if someone was being interfered with, they would have complained in the past 24 years.
Usually somebody does complain, but it's not someone being interfered with. It's typically the other radio stations that have received licenses from the FCC. If they know you're there, they're going to file a complaint.
What are their two complaints that somebody's interfered with and...
These are the two things that they always trot out whenever there's a pirate radio operator, is that they could be interfering with somebody and can disrupt public safety communications.
That's not an issue anymore because your phone screams at you when things happen or when it rains too hard.
What they're referring to is like the police frequencies or... Let's say airlines, their radio frequencies. The claim is...
But they're not in the AM and FM bands.
Yeah, they're not in the FM broadcast bands.
Not the broadcast bands.
They are FM transmissions.
Right, they're frequency modulation.
Correct.
Okay, so that only applies if you're playing music on the police station.
You would think, but no, actually.
Bandwidth.
I mean, you would think, but there's
well,
actually...
the law still applies, but that...
No. What's happening,
logic.
though... So if there is actually interference, in theory there could be. There's something in radio called harmonics, which is it's kind of an engineering term that has to do with if you're broadcasting on a certain frequency, the broadcast, if it doesn't have a filter on it, can end up being heard on different frequencies that are certain multiples of the original frequency.
But so whatever frequency you're actually broadcasting, not necessarily only what you're aiming for.
I'm not sure I understand what you're saying.
So if you're going into 3 different frequencies, then you're broadcasting on those 3 different frequencies,
but you're
even
not
if you're only
intending
aiming for one.
Right. So one of those other frequencies could be, let's say, an aircraft communications band or, marine band or, there's these different
areas. I still feel like Southwest would have said at some point on the past 24 years be like, hey, we were trying to land the planes, but there was music
the Haitian
instead,
music
so
came
what's
through.
up?
Right. So you would expect that there would be a complaint, and nobody has ever said there's a complaint against most of the stations the feds go after.
Sure.
Any engineer that is worth, a hill of beans knows about the risks of harmonics, and they know to use what they call a low-pass filter. It's a piece of equipment that gets rid of that.
Or just maybe don't play on the bandwidth right above or above or below the airplane bandwidth.
Well, you kind of have to play on the bandwidth where the FM transmissions are, right? So the broadcast FM exists between 88 in the United States between 88 megahertz or 87 megahertz and 108 megahertz. So you really, if you want to be heard, you have to play there. So the solution is to use a piece of hardware that cuts out those harmonics. So anyway, it's just a BS claim that the federal government loves to trot out because they want to make the pirates look like they're anti-community, when in fact this pirate station is, as the Miami Herald describes it, the pulse of the Haitian community. This is the Haitian music station that people want to listen to because they're playing the music they recognize, they're playing the music that they love, and that they probably can't get from, the Clear channels or the iHeartMedias and the big radio
Nobody wants to service them enough
of the world. And because it would be insane to try to actually go and ask the federal government for permission to broadcast, because half the time, even if you have the, I don't know how many thousands or tens of thousands of dollars it costs to apply and jump through their federal hoops to try to get a broadcast license, most of the time, there's not even a window in which you can apply. So the federal government opens up a certain time frame and they say, okay, we're ready for new applications for broadcast. and then they close that window at a certain time. And it's very rare that that window is even ever open. So 99% of the time, if you send an application to the FCC, it's going to be outside of one of those windows, and they're just going to kick it back in your face.
If you're in Miami, somebody's already
they're already on the band.
Yeah, all the positions are filled. So
at least the positions the FCC would legally allow you to fill.
Right. So I don't know if they're secondary or what they're the way they're on the dial. I couldn't say that, but we had two stations in Sarasota that had to sign a piece of paper that said that it's okay for them to be this close on the dial, is at 105.9 and at 106.5, and they had to, they were within, I don't know, whatever the amount of positions on the dial that they would have had to, say that it was okay, and they did. So obviously it was fine in that community. It could be fine in others, but the FCC doesn't play that way.
FCC Chairman Ajit Pai, who is supposedly going into the FCC. There's all this talk in the radio industry about this guy, how he's going to go in and tear out regulations. He's Trump's man. He's going to go and make the FCC smaller. Well, he is not going to ignore pirates, and he's got a few things to say about it coming up here, and you can share your thoughts as well on Free Talk Live.
The young lady from the rescue delivered happy, and I panicked. He was missing hair, stinky, scabby, and I thought, what did I get us into? The cause of his issue was poor nutrition. It was neglect. The other owners didn't care enough about him to give him the nutrition he needed. But I have a vet that I trust, and she recommended Dinovite, DINOVITE.com. I ordered the first 90-day supply, and within a couple weeks, his skin started clearing up. He didn't smell. He had more energy. He just had a glow and a bounce about him. We've been using Dinovite for the last year, and Happy the rescue dog is Happy the healthy dog. I tell all my friends who have rescues to give their dog the chance at a new start with Dinovite. It's going to pay off for you and your dog for years to come.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash at dash.org and help build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, Mark at freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want. We're talking about pirate radio. It's one of my favorite topics, but it doesn't really hit the news very often, so I was super excited to hear about the 24-year running operating and continuing to operate pirate that is just ignoring the fines that have been put up against it, rebuilding after being raided. We'll tell you more about them coming up here in moments.
Whole Food Multi-Complete is so much more than a multivitamin. It's Whole Food Multi-Complete, right? Like, so they've got vitamins and minerals and enzymes and probiotics and antioxidants, and everything that you need is basically in one bottle, and significantly less costly than the other sort of plant food based supplements. There's synthetics out there that are significantly cheaper, but they're synthetics. Just go to simplifymysupplements.com and take a look at the expansive list of nutrients that are included in Whole Food Multi-Complete. It's the perfect blend of nutrients that you need, and they've taken the expense and complexity out of following a complete supplement program. Visit simplifymysupplements.com to learn more. Enter coupon code FTL to receive 10% off your order every time you order. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Simplifymysupplements.com. Coupon code FTL. This product's so good, I will take it as long as they make it. SimplifyMySupplements.com.
MiamiHerald.com reporting on Radio Touch Deuce, a pirate radio station with a $144,000 fine that it was just issued by the FCC. Owner Fabrice Polynice, a.k.a. DJ Paz, has been playing Haitian music there, and it's become what the Miami Herald describes as the pulse of the Haitian music industry in Miami. However, FCC Chairman Ajit Pai weighed in last week announcing the decision. They actually had the chairman of the FCC announce this. He says there's nothing funny about pirate radio, which interferes with the lawful use of the airwaves. Translation, it interferes, he claims, with the other people who've given us thousands of dollars and jumped through our arbitrary hoops, and we've given them a FCC license to broadcast. We're claiming that this person broadcasting is somehow interfering with them. That pirate radio is, in general, interferes with them.
The majority of the times that I've looked at pirates, it seems to me that the argument that they're interfering is specious. Most of the time, what they're doing is broadcasting without a license.
That's correct.
And that's what the big problem is. In a world where anybody can go put up a website, a blog, a video blog, or whatever it is they want to do, the federal government holds tenaciously to this progressive era notion that they own the airwaves. And I'm very, very interested in what a court would say regarding free speech surrounding broadcast, because to the best of my knowledge, it's never gone to an appeal court level.
It's never gone to the best of my knowledge, and Melanie, I doubt you've done any research on this topic, but you actually are legally trained. You went to law school. To the best of my knowledge, it has never even been taken to prosecution in any kind of federal court level ever. That when the federal government issues a fine, if the pirate operator ignores the fine, all they can really do, the FCC, is stamp their feet and send you more notices until they can go to the Justice Department and get the Justice Department to bring I believe a civil case against you to try to collect the notice of apparent liability, which is what the notice is that they write to you saying, hey, you're broadcasting without our permission. We say you owe us $10,000. They would actually have to get the Justice Department, my understanding, and Melanie, if you want to weigh in, please do, to actually bring a case. And the Justice Department won't, because of the reason that you're suggesting here, Mark, that they don't want to have to fight against the idea of freedom of speech.
So I don't know the FCC particularly. I've never come across any cases about that, but that's not the kind of thing I would come across.
Right. Did you train criminal?
Yeah.
Okay.
The alphabets, how they usually work is they can fine you and send you all kinds of stuff. A lot of them have their own police forces, but if they want to actually prosecute you, usually they just refer you to the DOJ, who would then...
But in this case, it's not prosecution because it's not a criminal matter, right? There's no criminal violation here. We're talking about a violation of regulations. We're talking about a regulatory, you shan't do that. Our bureaucrats have said so.
There's probably some statute that says you can't violate a regulation somewhere.
Maybe, but the only places where criminal charges have ever been brought against pirate operators is in Florida and New York, where there are actually statutes on the books criminalizing the unlicensed operation of radio equipment.
The FCC might have authorization to seize property. The IRS does.
The FCC does seize property. That's about the worst. They'll seize property and they'll issue a fine, but they don't seem to have any real way to collect the fines.
They'll bust in the door.
But if they can seize property, then they can... Not just contraband, not taking contraband, but seizing licit property.
I don't think they've ever done that. I've never heard of that happening. Normally,
they might have to have the DOJ do it.
Normally,
it might just not be an issue so much that they still have to have the DOJ do it.
I don't know if you can forfeit the if you're talking about asset forfeiture of like the land or the house or something like that. I don't know if that can be connected to violation of a
I'm not talking
regulation.
about asset forfeiture, but like if you have a parking ticket.
Yeah.
The city or whoever it is can come seize your if you just like keep refusing to show up. Well, they're probably just going to arrest you. But if you just keep refusing to show up and you don't own a car, or I guess it wouldn't be a parking ticket, is a speeding ticket because you're borrowing your friend's car that day or something, they're not going to go seize your friend's car unless they just really, really hate you specifically. But the city still has the power to come and seize your property to pay off the fine if that's how they want to do it. Now, for $100, they're probably not going to do it.
Good point. And in this case, one of the details here is they are going after the landlords for the first time in FCC history. So maybe they're going to try it that route.
Well, okay. So going after the landlord doesn't. In this case, the landlord and the tenant have been notified multiple times.
No, the landlords are getting it the first time.
Right, but the claim is the landlord is colluding here by letting them do it.
Correct.
And that's a different story than just sort of saying we're going to take your property. All they're doing is sending a cease and desist to the landlord.
At this point, they're issuing the fine.
Fine. So there's a fine. I need something beyond this fine to say that something new has happened here.
Even if they try to take the property, that still means it goes to court. And the theory is the FCC doesn't want to end up in court.
That's not necessarily true. We're talking about alphabets. They kind of subvert that a little bit. But either the FCC or the DOJ, whoever has jurisdiction over actually enforcing the fine, is going to be able to enforce the fine.
So in this case, the FCC says Pi won't tolerate the unauthorized and illegal use of the radio spectrum. Towards that end, I've made it a commission priority to crack down on pirate radio operations. And with today's action...
Is this the guy that cut the staff of the FCC by like nearly half?
No, it was actually his predecessor under the Obama administration who cut the enforcement staff.
So there's, I mean, I don't know how many field offices are left for the Federal Communications Commission.
Fewer.
But they're they have to run all over the place whenever some pirate pops up.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know what
There's
they do
still
the
one
rest
in Boston,
of the time.
though.
Yeah, they're in Boston, but
New York City.
Imagine if you were broadcasting a pirate in, say, Aroostook County, Maine.
That's way up there.
Yeah, they'd have to go way up there. They'd be all the way down in Connecticut. They'd be all over the place.
And they are.
But what else they got to do?
I don't know.
Right. That's their job. They've certainly come to Keene every single time and, done it here. They've issued their threatening letters. They did issue a threatening letter to at least one landlord that I'm aware of in this case, but they didn't issue the fine.
If the landlord knows about it, the landlord's probably guilty of something legally.
All right, there's more coming up here in moments. We'll tell you more about what's happening to this heroic pirate radio operator, 24 years on the air and continuing under threat. It's Free Talk Live.
Dr. Carolyn Dean wants you to have a free chapter of her new book, The Magnesium Miracle 2nd Edition, and it's available at magmiracle.com. In your free chapter, Dr. Carolyn Dean explains how magnesium is essential to support the structure and function and overall health of your body. Your free chapter is your guide to learn how to support your heart, bone, metabolic, lung, and mental health with this powerful mineral. The Magnesium Miracle 2nd Edition is available on Amazon, but right now get a free chapter at magmiracle.com, spelled M-A-G, miracle.com.
Chad here, owner of Infidel Body Armor. With the shooting in Vegas, there will be calls to ban guns and body armor. You can expect prices to rise dramatically in the coming weeks as gun grabbers try to outlaw your freedom. If you don't have your armor kit yet, you're behind the curve. Don't miss your window of opportunity. Go to infidelbodyarmor.com and click on Specials. That's infidelbodyarmor.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Stouffer's, helping bring your family together with wholesome dinner options, even on the busiest of nights. Find dinner table ideas to bring your family together at letsfixdinner.com. To get kids involved in dinnertime conversation, ask specific questions, not broad ones. Instead of what happened today at school, try what was the best thing that happened today. The more specific you are, the more they'll have to say. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free here and bring up anything you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Like Free Talk Live. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. Skype username's LRN.FM. Bitcoin.com. You want to get the latest on what's happening with Bitcoin? They got a great news site over at news.bitcoin.com. Or maybe you're brand new to Bitcoin. You want to learn the basics get started on your new journey into the world of cryptocurrency. Bitcoin.com is the best place to get started and learn the basics about Bitcoin. And then if you're really into Bitcoin, you can learn how to mine it there at pool.bitcoin.com. They've got games that you can play with your cryptocurrency there. It's really just an all-around great introduction to Bitcoin. And I believe they've still got the Bitcoin.com forums there, which are not censored like the some of the other Bitcoin forums out there. Bitcoin.com. As we continue here to more about this heroic pirate radio operator on the air for 24 years in North Miami. It is a Haitian music station called Radio Touch Deuce. They've been hit with a hefty fine of $144,000. FCC Chairman Ajit Pai, who is the Republican chairman that was promoted to the chair position when Donald Trump was put in office, he's been heralded in the radio industry press as like going to take a weed whacker to this is the terminology that he used, apparently, that they were going to take a weed whacker to unnecessary regulations. And there's been all these news articles in the industry press about how they're talking about rolling back certain rules and restrictions, and that's good. If that's actually happening, then great. I'm glad to hear that.
It seems like it. It might go after there's you need to have an office in this.
They call it the main studio rule.
Main studio rule. That's what it's called.
Something about where the office needs to be located in relation to the transmission, or something like that.
That I understand why people want that rule to stay, but at the same time, it doesn't really fit the radio industry as it exists right now.
Which is to say, the industry that has been cut back as far as like budgets and competition. And
I got to say, I worked at a radio station that was nothing more than a closet. It was just a closet in the back of a church, and that's all the room we had. One person could sit in there.
That's literally the station I started working at. It was originally a closet in a house, and they converted it into a radio studio. So going on here, FCC chairman says, we're going to back these words up with action. Polonice, who's the head DJ of the station, has owned it for 24 years. He refused to talk about the case, which is a surprise. You're this much of a member of the community. I mean, they talk about how it's the pulse of the Haitian music community there in Miami. This is an important station to people. What a shame that the operator is staying tight-lipped. But either way, Harold Sido, who owns the North Miami property with the shed, so the shed is where the broadcast is emanating from, along with his wife Veronice, did not respond to the request for comment. Polonice and the Sidos have 30 days to respond to the proposed fine. Miami, Boston, and New York lead the nation in pirate radio transmissions, with stations that boast colorful DJs, live artist interviews, and even commercials. But they are illegal because their owners haven't bought or leased the frequency or have been granted a license to operate on the public airwaves. But I think it's interesting that they describe these stations as lively. Like, as you were saying, Mark, you've worked at a station that was a closet.
Yeah.
There was another article I read.
Anything but lively.
Yeah, I read an article recently, or looked briefly at an article by a radio person writing for Cracked.com, talking about how, I think you saw this one too, somebody posted it on our AMP forum, talking about how dismal of a state radio is these days. And it's been pretty dismal for a while. Just, staffing cutbacks, companies with huge loads of debt that they have to service, and that results in more cutbacks. And, of course, the more cutbacks you have, the less of an interesting product that you have because you don't have any live DJs anymore. You've got them all recorded, or you've cut out all the DJs together, so you're just a jukebox of music with no real personality. And here they're saying these stations are staffed. There's people there. There's buzz about it. They're organizing concerts in town. Like, they're getting out there. They're doing what radio stations used to do.
The FCC just doesn't want to be shown up.
Well, or these stations don't want to.
If you're not in a top 50 market, the chances are that more than half of your day on your favorite station is filled with voice tracked, which means
recorded elsewhere,
or not elsewhere, or whatever. They may be elsewhere.
Sometimes they're in the same market. Sometimes they're piped in.
But they're probably not talking live from the studio in your radio. And that's what's happening right now with Free Talk Live on 100 and something stations across the U.S., right? We're remote. We're not there. And talk radio.
But we don't pretend like we're there,
No.
Like, anybody that listens to the show for a little while knows we're in Keene, New Hampshire. That's where we're doing the show from. It's a national show. I mean, I don't know how many people think John Tesh is on their local radio station. I'm sure some do, right? Like John Tesh has a music show that he does. Delilah,
the guy who wrote this this article you're talking about, the first question he always gets asked is, "Do you know Delilah?"
Yeah.
Nope, I don't live in Oregon.
Yeah, I guess you're right. There's probably a lot of ignorance about that.
Well, they just don't know, and I don't know what I would think either if I was in a given market. If you're in a major market, you have reason to believe that John Tesh may be on your airwaves.
I see what you're saying.
If you were in New York City or L.A. or Chicago, sure, you could believe that John Tesh is broadcasting from your local station. That's a reasonable thing to presume.
Good point. Now, if you're in the middle of a cow pasture, maybe not.
Right, then probably not. So, no.
So all three cities, Boston, New York, Miami, the top three pirate radio markets, boast large Caribbean populations who listen for the compa, soca, and dancehall tunes missing from mainstream radio's playlists. Touch Deuce, which is the station, continued to operate on 90.1 FM as of late Friday. So after they were hit with a $144,000 fine, they're still on the air.
They're samba.
Well, I mean, $144K, like they either enforce it or they don't. Like after that, like what else are you gonna do to me? I mean, like you can't actually do anything. I mean, unless you're gonna put me in prison.
Right.
What else are you gonna do? Make it,
Which is why I'm surprised here, because it is Florida and there is a misdemeanor charge they could hit them with, and I don't see anything about that happening as of yet.
The misdemeanor isn't going to come with a $144,000 fine.
So
I mean, in Florida might not care. Florida might want it.
It features regular DJs and shows in the evenings and on weekends. Signal comes from a backyard shed with a very visible antenna, according to the FCC's enforcement chief, Rosemary Harold, who I'm sure is just a ball of fun. But its studio is located in a North Miami storefront where the on-air programs are sometimes live-streamed over the internet. Harold says she's surprised the underground operators didn't just stick to streaming, a way that many radio operators without licenses can broadcast legally. Here's why you don't do that. Because there's a million stations on the internet. You want a Caribbean Haitian station, there's probably 15 of them streaming right now.
People want to be serviced via their radio still.
How they get
That's
content.
How they want it, right? I mean, radio is still better than anything else in the car because you turn it
immediate.
on and there's audio there.
Yeah.
And that's real nice.
If I want to get on streaming on my car, I've got to make sure my phone's Bluetooth connected to the car or hooked in with an aux jack, and I got to, put in a passcode into my phone. Then I got to go into the streaming app. I've got to select the stream that I want, and then it's got to connect to the stream, which, of course, if you're in a bad data area, is going to be janky at best.
Or if you have a podcast, or if you want to hear a podcast, you have to have downloaded the podcast ahead of time.
Yeah, there's a lot of prep involved in listening to an internet station, whereas radio's immediate. It hits its broadcast, so anybody with one of these receivers, which is in almost every car on the road, could, in theory, hear that particular channel. Whereas with the internet, you don't just stumble across a Haitian music channel. You have to look for it. With whatever it is you're listening to on the internet, it's very rare that you'll just, here's this channel that I've always wanted to listen to and I didn't know was there. It just doesn't, it doesn't work that way. Even if you're looking for something, first of all, you have to be looking for something specific and you have to go and search for it. It's not like you can just scroll through the thousands and thousands of radio stations that are on the internet. It's just not practical.
Nope.
So you want to be heard by people in Miami? You have to be on the radio there. You can go hang up as many flyers as you want promoting your internet radio station. It's just not going to get you the results of a solid FM transmitted signal in the marketplace.
With a storefront studio.
That's amazing, which is why I'm surprised that the dude's not commenting to the Herald. He's got a storefront. He's obviously not hiding. There's more coming up here. 855-450 free.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are two Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
Poppy, the rescue dog. He was missing hair, stinky, scabby. But I have a vet that I trust, and she recommended Dinovite.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Mega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dinovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Investing is a long-term process. How many times can you think of in the last decade that the stock market has destroyed retirement funds for people just like you and me? For your existing IRA, you need the security that gold has provided for centuries. Remember, gold has never been worth zero. Capital Gold would like to introduce you to the Home Storage Gold IRA. It's a self-directed IRA set up with all the protection and tax benefits of an LLC. But the big difference in this IRA is you invest in gold and you hold it in your possession. You can't do that with stocks. That's security. You can transfer any type of IRA hassle-free in days. Please call right now and learn more, and we'll waive the $500 setup fee and give you a free safe to store your gold. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. That's 800-535-7789.
Seniors thunder into a local high school parking lot like coalition forces entering Baghdad. A substitute teacher just needs to make it to her car before breaking down in tears. And a college freshman tells his roommate there's no need to hide his masturbation from him. And now a week in review that truly requires no introduction. The nation's students announced this week that they have reluctantly agreed to give the American education system yet another chance, saying they hope educators keep their promises of smaller class size, better school supplies, and intensified efforts to raise the country's international math ranking. The nation's students vowed to give the education system one more shot, despite claiming to have been burned many, many times in the past. In other news, a man overcomes alcoholism without the help of Jesus, and an outcast student and a lonely teacher have begun a somewhat endearing sexual relationship. And that was a free lesson in top-shelf journalism. For more news, videos, and reminders of your insignificance, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Bring up anything you want. Our number here is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and our Skype username is LRN.FM. Joining you tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
We're talking about pirate radio. In this case, a very unusual pirate operator. One that I think deserves to be heralded and promoted and given as much attention for their plight as possible. They are under attack by the FCC in Miami. It's Radio Touche Deuce, or Touche Deuce. I don't know how you pronounce it. If you're French and you know, you're welcome to call in here. But they're playing Haitian music around the clock, and they've been around for 24 years. And despite being issued a $144,000 fine recently, that's not their first fine, by the way, but despite being issued that fine, they're continuing to operate. They even have a storefront studio in Miami somewhere, which is different from where their transmitter shack is on a couple's piece of property. So the FCC in this case, for the first time, is actually going after, with the $144,000 fine, they're going after the property owners in addition to the station operator, because they're claiming they're friends on Facebook, so they must be allowing the person to operate the station.
I see.
Oh, there's a lot of people I need to unfriend then, because they do all kinds of stuff I don't agree with.
Right. But are you giving them property to do that stuff with?
No, but...
That would be the difference in this case. So they're...
Then why is it relevant that they're friends on Facebook?
That's how they found out who they were.
Like, just, they're just piling up the circumstantial evidence to sort of show a connection.
Exactly. Rosemary Harold is the FCC's enforcement chief, and she says she's surprised the underground operators didn't just stick to streaming audio, a way that many radio operators without licenses can broadcast legally, she says. Which, of course, as we pointed out before, is... Well, the reason why you want to be on the radio is because it's still a major way that people hear new music. It's a major way that people hear audio content, even though the argument can be made that the industry is struggling and trying to stay relevant.
One of the reasons the industry is struggling is because the major owners of radio stations across the U.S. are in debt up to their eyeballs.
Yes, and the FCC...
And that's being generous.
Right, and the FCC's out there restricting the marketplace so you don't have true free competition in the radio field, which means that nobody is trying their best. They're not trying their hardest. They're not worried about their lunch getting eaten by the other guys because they're all in the same kind of over-debt-loaded situation. All these major companies are. So, going on here, in this case, she said, the commission has taken the unusual step of holding liable both the DJ and the property owners. It's the first time in pirate radio cases that property owners have been on the hook, she said. Quote, we're not likely to go after every property owner who may be housing an antenna, especially if they don't know about a pirate radio, but we aren't going to let them off scot-free either, she said. It will depend on the facts. Unquote. According to the commission's investigation, which dates back to 2012, the Sidos, the owners of the property, allowed the station's operator to promote and broadcast the illegal radio transmissions from their backyard, providing free access to the shed and an internet connection. The Sidos in this case were more than passive property owners, Harold said. They appear to have controlled access to the transmitter and had the ability to turn off the transmitter. When our FCC agents came to the door, our signal finding equipment would show that the signal went away. The station had its troubles. In 2013, one of its popular hosts suffered an electrical shock while fixing the antenna.
If they had been properly licensed, that electrical shock would have never occurred.
The previous year, Touch Deuce's equipment was seized by the FCC, and Polynice, the DJ, was fined $25,000.
She probably never paid either.
He did not. Still, the report said those actions, quote, did not deter Mr. Polynice and the Sidos from their apparent continuing unlawful operations, unquote. Miami-based agents found unauthorized radio transmissions emanating from the Sido residence on at least 7 occasions, including as recently as December of 2016. At one point, Polynice, who still hasn't paid the $25,000 fine,
and isn't going to,
broadcast from 3 different locations on 6 days, including the Sido's residence, they noted. Polynice has denied that he operated an illegal radio station, the report said, though agents noted that in 2015 he admitted that he was DJ Paz and had developed the Radio Touch Deuce brand. The Sidos also denied knowing Polynice and denied knowing the station was illegally broadcasting its signal from their backyard. During one visit to the Sido shed, FCC agents accompanied by U.S. Marshals observed a laptop computer inside with an audio playlist labeled Radio Touch Deuce and MP3 computer file folders with the name Paz. They also observed cables and an antenna and what appeared to be an AC power line running from the shed to the Sido residence. Investigators connected the couple to Polynice by scouring social media. They found a video Harold Sido posted on his Facebook page showing him in the studio during one of the illegal broadcasts.
Can't just claim to be the landlord now.
On Touch Deuce's own Facebook page, they saw that Polynice was identified as the owner of Radio Touch Deuce. So, I mean, this is what we're talking about police are spending their time on here. You've got the U.S. Marshals accompanying the FCC bureaucrats into an investigation of a multi-year running investigation of this broadcaster. I mean, that's what we're talking about. In the so-called land of the free, you cannot press a power button on a transmitting device. It is illegal for you to do that, and men with guns will come and seize your transmitting device. I mean, that it sounds like something out of a dystopian novel where technology is being suppressed, by the government.
But it's old technology.
Right. Like many of today's compa bands, Touch Deuce, its popularity has grown with the expansion of Northeast Miami-Dade County's Haitian American community, and the name translates into smooth touch. The news of the crackdown has sent shockwaves through the Haitian music industry and Miami, where DJ Paz is described by industry insiders as a penny-pinching promoter whose annual October parties celebrating Touch Deuce's founding have easily drawn as many as 800 partygoers. That's a big party.
That is pretty impressive for a radio station generally.
Some Haitian music, right? Remember the stations we worked at? If you would go to a bar or something like that and have, we'd go to Hooters and set the station van out there, and some DJ would be broadcasting from Hooters, and maybe 5 people would show up to say hi and get a free koozie cup or something like that.
I don't know. You did it more than I did, but the Oldies 108 dance party on Friday nights would bring in.
That was pretty big.
Many dozens of people, maybe a few hundred.
That's pretty good. And that was a big station, too, a long-running oldies station.
Yeah, you were sitting on, 4,500 blazing watts?
No, you're not talking about the oldie station. That was 70,000.
No, that
right?
was 70,000 watts, yeah.
Some Haitian.
I'm talking about the station you were on.
Right. Some Haitian. Well, WYNF was 50,000, or was the 40,000 watt for a while.
It had been,
and then they switched it to the oldies.
Yeah.
Some Haitian music fans are wondering if the move and ongoing investigation of other South Florida pirate radio stations by the FCC will compel the Haitian community to purchase its own FM station after years of complaining that an FM radio license is too expensive. And so some people are saying that they need it. Quote, this was probably the only station.
But if they buy it, then they'll have to pay the fine, because then they'll be under the thumb of the FCC.
No, they're talking about buying an FM station.
If they buy an FM station, then they will be a license holder. Once you're a license holder...
They won't have to pay the fine for other people. We're talking about other people buying a radio station within the Haitian community.
If DJ Paz goes over there, they're going to call it collusion.
They're not going to let Paz have his own station without paying the fine, like you're saying.
Right.
One of the songwriters for Compa Musicians says this was probably the only station that played our music genre, Compa, exclusively on a daily basis. The man further said that the FCC action he claimed was, while understandable, comes as a huge blow because Radio Touch Deuce was, quote, a real backbone in promoting our music. So congratulations, FCC. You're trying to take out a member of this Haitian community in Miami that is integrated. They care about these folks. They are interested in promoting the music. They're integrated within that community, and they're attacking it simply because they haven't gotten some permission slip and paid who knows how many thousands of dollars and jumped through however many hours worth of legalistic hoops in order to get some sort of FCC permission slip. As I said before, if the FCC is even willing to consider the application, which 99 times out of the 100, they're not even willing to look at your application because you filed it at the wrong time. Oh, we're sorry. Our application window hasn't been opened. Well, it wasn't open last year either. Well, sorry. We'll open it when we darn well feel like it.
Even if you get the application window in, it doesn't mean you're going to get at the dial position you want.
No, it doesn't mean anything.
Other things.
It means they might take your application fee and then tell you, no thanks, have a nice day.
You basically have to hire an FCC attorney if you want to
get through the process.
Yeah. And more or less what happens these days is attorneys, FCC attorneys and FCC engineers work together to bring a station online. And then it's either sold or it was sold beforehand.
It's easier to buy a station is what you're saying.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's ultimately what it comes down to is that you're buying a station because, the people that are bringing
you got
$100
grand.
Yeah.
Or $2 or $5.
That's just for the license.
Sometimes you'll get a studio if you pay more than $100. You might get a studio.
Where are you talking about?
Depends on the market.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you're talking about broadcasting to cow fields, yeah, you might get a signal and a studio for $100,000. But if you're any populated area, forget that.
All right, toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE. So kudos to Radio Touch Deuce for continuing to operate, for ignoring the FCC. We need more people with that level of courage out there. I mean, they're just doing it to play their favorite music. Wouldn't it be nice if we had people in the liberty movement with that level of courage? I think that'd be pretty awesome. More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Attention type 2 diabetics. If you or a loved one has taken Invokana, Invokamet, or Invokamet XR or other inhibitors for type 2 diabetes and suffered amputation of the toes, feet, or legs, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA has warned that Invokana, Invokamet, or Invokamet XR and other inhibitors for type 2 diabetes cause an increased role in amputations of the toes, feet, and legs. If you or a loved one has taken Invokana, Invokamet, or Invokamet XR or other inhibitors for type 2 diabetes and suffered amputation of the toes, feet, or legs, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-475-7607. That's 800-475-7607. Again, 800-475-7607. Call now. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. www.injuryhelpdesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, October 23rd, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.90 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,274 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.3 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $5,807. Antiwar.com reports top figures within the autonomous region of Catalonia are promising to act to resist the announced takeover of their territory by the Spanish central government, saying they have no intention of complying with Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy's announcement. Catalan President Carles Puigdemont says that Rajoy's declaration is the worst attack on Catalonia since the era of Spain's military dictatorship, promising to consult with regional parliament on an appropriate response. Catalan Parliament Speaker Carme Forcadell concurred, accusing Rajoy of attempting a coup against Catalonia, adding that he wants the Parliament of Catalonia to stop being a parliament, and we will not allow that to happen. Catalonia's public remains out in force in Barcelona in support of secession, having already voted overwhelmingly for it on the October 1st referendum. They see Spain's efforts to revoke Catalan autonomy as proof that they need to declare independence and get away from Spain as soon as possible. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Spendabit.co. UPI reports the city council in Honolulu passed a law last week that makes it illegal for people to smoke in a privately owned vehicle if minors are present in the car. Honolulu now becomes one of the only major cities in the United States to enact such a ban. Honolulu ordinance also applies to electronic cigarettes. Violators of the law will be subject to fines of $100 for a first offense, $200 for a second offense if within 1 year of the previous offense, and a $500 fine for a third offense if within 1 year of the second offense. Honolulu Council Chairman Rod Menner says police officers will be on the lookout for people smoking in vehicles. Similar laws have been passed in other areas of Hawaii. 8 states, including Arkansas, California, Louisiana, Maine, Oregon, Utah, Vermont, and Virginia, have statewide bans on smoking in vehicles with children present. The age of the child ranges between under 8, like in Vermont and Virginia, to under 18, as in California and Oregon, according to a 2012 study published in the journal Pediatrics. 48% of parents who smoke say they have smoked in their vehicle with their children present. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports a sea and air search was suspended on Sunday for 2 crew members who went missing after an oil barge caught fire early on Friday and leaked an undetermined amount of fuel into the Gulf of Mexico off Port Aransas, Texas. There was no immediate determination of what caused the fire, which was extinguished on Friday. U.S. Coast Guard Petty Officer Edward Wargo said the search for the missing crew members was halted after it turned up no signs of the 2. Authorities are bringing in additional floating booms to contain the oil around the barge, which is anchored about 3 miles off the coast, according to a Coast Guard spokesman. Earlier, they put out 2,000 feet of containment boom around the vessel. Efforts were underway on Sunday to seal 2 oil tanks that were breached during the early morning fire. Aerial photos released by the Coast Guard show an opening on the deck of the ship's bow. After the tanks are sealed, authorities are considering transferring some of the oil to another vessel and towing the barge to port. According to a spokeswoman for the Texas General Land Office, which is taking part in the response to the fire and oil spill, officials are exploring several different ways to move the barge. The barge, operated by Bouchard Transportation Company, holds about 137,000 barrels of oil and was headed to Corpus Christi, Texas when the fire started. A spokesman for the company declined comment on efforts to repair the tanks. The 2 tanks that were exposed during the fire, which cut through the ship's deck, hold about 20,000 barrels combined. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Crammed into tiny bar stools, cramped diner booths, and filthy cars where moving their limbs is either uncomfortable or impossible, hundreds of thousands of consumers rip apart chicken wings or tear off bites of Heroes and hamburgers every single day, often to the point of bloating, belching, and outright physical pain. Barbecue sauce or hamburger juice will literally dribble down these poor beasts' mouths and onto their shirts, their beards thick with pungent grease. Treated as little more than machines to be stuffed full of smoked pork, marinated chicken, and dry-aged beef, consumers are forced to wait in long lines, often while still fully conscious, before buying their meat and ripping it off the bone with their mouths in plain view of other consumers. The majority of meat consumers are often prodded to ingest vastly more than their bodies can handle thanks to cruel promotions like 25-cent wing nights and family-sized buckets of chicken. Help stop the brutality by visiting.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll free to join us on the radio waves. Our number here, 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. If you're just tuning in, amazing story that we shared with you in the first hour about Radio Touch Deuce. They are broadcasting Haitian music in Miami and have been for 24 years. And they never asked anybody's permission to do it. FCC's not so happy about it, and they have gone after them in the past, have raided their studio, raided their transmitter, taken their equipment, issued a $25,000 fine to the DJ, the operator of the station. He kept going. He kept operating. And now they're coming back at him with a $144,000 fine. He's never paid a dime, apparently, of the original one. And they're also now going after the landlords in that particular case, trying to get them to pony up. Because the FCC is basically, it seems like they're a paper tiger to some extent, meaning that, they are very intimidating. They've got a very big budget. They will send agents out to try to threaten you and question your neighbors, and because that's what they'll do. They'll come and actually knock on doors in the houses in the neighborhood and ask them questions about you if you're the one that they suspect operates the radio station. So they're trying to gather information from your neighbors. They don't know to not talk to the police, so they'll probably just talk and if they know something about your operations, they might reveal something.
Chances are good
about that. And then they issue a threatening letter, and usually the operator shuts down and calls it quits. They're not in it to go to court. They're not interested in a knockdown, drag-out fight. They don't want their equipment confiscated, so they just call it quits. But in the case of Radio Touch Deuce in Miami, they are going forward. Even though a $144,000 fine has just been issued against them, they continue to broadcast in Miami. And I love it when I hear stories like this. It's so heartwarming to see courageous individuals actually standing up. As a broadcaster, as somebody who I started my career in radio when I fell in love with pirate radio. I mean, that was what did it for me. I've never been somebody who likes to be told what to do. I've always been anti-authority, so to speak.
You've got a pirate radio bumper sticker still that you've had for a long time.
Yeah, that's right.
Here in the studio that's on one of your little broadcast, deck table things.
Yeah, I was listening to a shortwave pirate operator a long time ago, and he actually had an 800 phone number that he was giving out, inviting people to call in and get a free bumper sticker. So I called the dude up, and I don't know where. I think it must have been like New York or something like that, which was where he was broadcasting from. I was in Florida at the time, so it was one of those, shortwave goes long distance. It's hard as hell to listen to, but he was there.
Yeah, it isn't pleasant to listen to.
But these pirates are good to listen to. They sound good. They're on FM. They, this guy's been on 24 years. Presumably, he knows a thing or two about how to broadcast in that time frame. But
he's probably learned something.
Man, I just wanted to bring that story to you because I think it's inspirational. I think a lot of people out there are really afraid of the FCC. I mean, it's the federal government, right? This is a scary, big government bureaucracy. They are well-funded. They have offices all across the country, and they issue big, scary fines. Nobody wants to pay $25,000 for broadcasting their favorite music or talk shows on the radio. But the big question is can they really collect the money from you? Can they really get the government, the Justice Department, to bring a lawsuit against you to get an order from a judge saying you have to pay them? Because otherwise, it's just a piece of paper suggesting that you pay $25,000 or $144,000. And as Melanie pointed out, once you've been hit with money, fines that large, it means nothing. It's just so many zeros.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
numbers.
What's the difference between a $3 million fine or a $300 million fine? Nothing.
From the average person's perspective,
what are you going to do?
Right. And
it's like when they try to issue consecutive sentences. It's like, you can write that on a piece of paper if you want, but you can't actually carry it out. So
right. And in this case, the broadcaster is courageously just continuing on and playing the music he wants to play and organizing concerts in the community and just basically ignoring the FCC. Oh, what's that? You confiscated my equipment? Well, it's okay. I got another transmitter right over here. We'll just go plug it right in and get back on the air.
I don't know why the FCC is so reluctant to go to court. Like that part baffles me. I don't know what they're. I'm glad they are.
Well, because you were saying you don't think that the free speech claim would hold water. Legally,
I don't.
Right. So you're saying that's why you're surprised they haven't gone to court is because you think it would be a shoo-in. You think they'd be able to get the judgment.
Yeah, because it's clearly not a content restriction. So.
But isn't it? It is a restriction against people who don't have the means, right? Like if you can't afford the application fee, really,
in anything.
So I don't know. It just seems to me like that the claim that the federal government can control the airwaves in a country with so-called free speech, freedom of speech, or even freedom of religion. Like what if a church goes in and opens up a pirate radio station? Then you've got a double kind of constitutional argument of not only is this our free speech, but it's our freedom of religion.
Really? Because, this is all legally, so they're allowed to have time, place, and manner restrictions, which this, to me, clearly is. They're saying this is how you get a license. This is when you can apply, almost never. Mm-hmm. And this is, where you can broadcast your signals into. And but regardless of what you want to say, this is how you do it. I don't know what. Because they do this with other types. They do this with if a city has not a billboard, but a place where you can post on the wall, or if they sell permits to parades, like. You can't go and say, "Oh, I'm indigent.
Indigent.
Indigent. I don't know.
Poor. It means poor.
Apparently you never
if
worked
you
with
have
those
no
people.
money, this is what happens when you read books and don't talk to people. But if you have no money, you can't go and say, "Oh, I can't afford the $25 parade fee. You have to let me block off the street anyway." They'd be like, "Nope, it doesn't matter what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you get a permit for this." And you either pay the permit or you don't, because they're allowed to, because if you weren't, I mean, yes, the Constitution does say that you can say whatever you want and with no restriction whatsoever.
But it doesn't say you have the right to broadcast.
Right. Well, that would be a manner of saying whatever you want. And that is kind of, even from an anarchist perspective, a little bit too broad, maybe, because according to the text of the First Amendment, I can just walk in here and be like, "Hey, yo, Ian, I'm doing a show, by the way," and just because I'm speaking and I have free speech,
but
right?
it's private property, which overrides that.
So they are still allowed under their laws and the Supreme Court case law, which is not the same as the First Amendment itself, but First Amendment case law, to say, okay, well, if we just let everybody in the radio station or everybody in we're not going to have 3 parades going at the same time. Like, we're not going to have the Southern Baptist Parade, the Gay Rights Parade, and the Scientology Parade all on the same day on the same street.
That's the time, place, and manner that you're referring to.
But they can all have a parade. They can't say, "Oh, well, we're going to give the Southern Baptists a permit, but we're not going to give
the Hare Krishnas,
the Scientologists a permit." But they have to have different days or different streets or something.
And the reason the FCC purportedly is, in existence is because broadcast was limited as far as the spectrum, right? So there's a limited amount of broadcast range that one can broadcast in, and the original excuse for the FCC was, well, we need an office to determine who can broadcast where on this particular band. Now, of course, they've expanded their purview since then into cable television regulations and all kinds of internet regulations and more. So,
there are things that the FCC does that I think would or theoretically should hold up, even under current case law, to be held against them. This, I don't think, is one of them.
So then, your stuff when it comes to the law. But you can't speculate on why they haven't brought these cases
I don't know.
to court.
I don't. This is what people tell me why they haven't brought it, but
they've got
I
attorneys.
don't know why they haven't actually brought it. Well, right, but I'm not talking to FCC's attorneys. I'm talking to libertarians sitting around guessing why the FCC hasn't brought a lawsuit.
Their legal department must have a reason to not do it.
Right, and it just kind of baffles me it's
what could that be?
Intriguing to me almost what that is, because I don't see it.
I would love to know more if you want to share your thoughts. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. I hope that the success of Radio Touch Deuce is inspirational to others out there. This is Free Talk Live.
Message and data rates may apply.
Oh my gosh, that's Frank Thomas.
No.
Yes, that's him. Go ahead. Excuse me, are you Frank Thomas?
Yes, I am.
I bet you get recognized a lot.
I was a pretty good ball player.
You were?
Some people thought so.
Sorry, we recognize you from those Nugenics commercials.
Oh, yeah? That's great.
So does Nugenics really work?
Oh, yeah. I really can feel the difference. My workouts are better, and I feel a lot more energetic.
I wish my husband would use Nugenics.
It's so easy to get started. All you have to do is send one simple text.
Text the word radio77 to 42424 for a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenics, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Its unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate.
And you're going to like the difference, too.
Text radio77 to 42424 for a complimentary bottle of Nugenics. Samples are not available in stores. Text RADIO77 to 42424. I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1. Plus, an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, you can dial toll free to join us on the radio. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. Joining you in the studio tonight, you've got me, Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
Hey, if you want to help build a better financial system for everyone, you ought to check out Dash. It's digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, it can be private and easy, fees are low, and transactions are quick and can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar, and their fees with Dash are so much lower than Bitcoin. I was spending on Bitcoin today over $1.50 to send something.
I just sent Dash for a penny.
I had one lady tell me, now she's new to Bitcoin, this lady, she came to a meetup this week here in Keene, and she wants to send her Bitcoin from her Coinbase wallet to a blockchain wallet because she wants to get it out of Coinbase. And she says they're trying to ask for an $88 fee.
Jeez.
Which I just don't even, I mean, it's just hard to fathom that. So you want affordable fees? Check out Dash at dash.org. Plus, you can even invest into Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. And it's Dash, where you can help create a better financial system for everyone. So take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. Go to dash.org and find out why. I know we're going to be talking with Joel Valenzuela from Dash Force News later this week. He's going to be one of the speakers at the Austin, Texas Bitcoin Conference. That's happening in Austin. It's called the Texas Bitcoin Conference. It's going to be our 3rd year at the conference. We were there for the 1st and 2nd years as well. They then skipped a year, and now they're back again. So we're looking forward to it.
I better pack, huh?
It's just a weekend. You don't have to start packing on Monday.
Okay.
So we're going to be broadcasting from the Texas Bitcoin Conference on Saturday and Sunday this weekend. If you're going to be in Austin and you are interested in cryptocurrencies, this is the place to go. This is where you're going to meet a lot of the movers and the shakers. And it sounds like a handful of folks from the Shire, New Hampshire, are going to be present. I believe Bruce Fenton is going to be there as well. And we're actually going to be broadcasting from his conference, which he's doing here in New Hampshire a little bit later on this year. I think it's December 1st, maybe?
It's in that vicinity, yeah.
Early December. Anyway, we're going to your calls and thoughts. You can bring up what you want. We've been talking a lot about pirate radio here tonight, but also on the way, we've got another ridiculous Florida story for you. Mark, you're going to share a Florida story about a woman who's been cracked down upon for giving diet tips online. But first, we have Cognitive Dissident on the line via Skype. Cognitive Dissident, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Melanie, and Mark.
Hello. I was listening to the show, I think from last night, when a couple people called in about LSD.
Yeah.
And a couple of the callers gave some information that was not correct.
Oh, really?
I wanted to correct. Yeah.
What was that?
They had said that LSD is found naturally in a mold that grows on rye. That is incorrect.
Really?
LSD is derived from alkaloids produced by the mold ergot that grow on rye. But if you just go and eat some moldy rye, you will poison yourself.
Right. Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. But it was discovered on accident, though, wasn't it?
Yes, by Albert Hoffman.
Oh, that doesn't sound fun.
It was fun, actually, for him. He had a nice bike ride, I believe, during his LSD.
Well, then you can't even be like, oh, I feel like I'm on acid, because that wasn't a thing.
Right, yeah, he didn't know what he was.
So it's just like, oh, well, you're insane now, okay.
Well, no, you don't necessarily go insane from a dose of LSD, but it will definitely expand your mind into regions that you may not have had an experience with prior to that. So I take it, Cognitive Dissonant, you know a thing or two about LSD?
A thing or two, yeah.
Okay. Were all of our other suggestions good? Like have a trip sitter, somebody who's experienced, to be there with you, to make sure
you know what you're getting into.
Make sure. Well, we can't ever really truly know, but you can research it. You can learn about it. So doing research, like for instance, Arrowhead.org, having a good set. Having a good set and setting to where you're in a comfortable place with people that you care about and care about you, and you're not worried.
All very important things.
Excellent. Anything else you wanted to add in?
I guess you were saying that maybe you could be getting something that wasn't LSD, and I just wanted to say that because the dose of LSD is so low that if you were to take it, at least on a tiny little blotter.
A blotter, yeah.
The odds that you would get something that would be psychoactive are pretty slim, other than LSD. No, I can't say it's impossible, but it would be pretty slim. More likely you would just get a piece of paper with nothing on it.
Didn't Rich Paul sell, was it 2CI or 2CB? I forget. Does anybody remember? Rich Paul, our former co-host here, he went to jail for selling cannabis and what was purported to be acid, but actually tested out as one of the research chemicals, I believe.
Maybe 25I?
Well, he was selling it as what it was, but the prosecutor kept kept referring to it as acid.
No,
and
he sold it as acid. He sold it as acid because it was marketed as acid, and, I don't know if he knew. I think maybe he did know. I don't remember exactly.
Because I remember him making an issue with the prosecutor saying, like, yes, I sold this, but I just want to make sure you're not accusing me of fraud by saying it was the wrong thing.
Well, I mean, the argument is that acid, I think the argument was that acid can be like a generic term for a psychedelic drug like that. I mean, I think it's a stretch. But yeah. I think
also,
it's a stretch.
2CI and 2CB, the dosage for those is like 20 to 30 milligrams. It would be, you need a pretty big piece of blotter paper to fit that on there.
If you're, because acid is measured in micrograms, so if you're taking, even if you're just taking the totally wrong drug, taking a couple of micrograms of something else probably isn't going to hurt you anyway.
Right. I don't know enough to be able to say what form it was being sold in, but supposedly it did not test as LSD, whatever it was. It tested as something else. I
guess it would be 25I.
And is that something that is also available in a very small dose?
No, it's not. I mean, I've seen it on blotter before, but the blotter is 4 or 5 times as big
large.
Yeah.
Interesting. Hey, thanks for calling with the scientific side of things. I certainly appreciate it. Cognitive, anything else you want to share?
Nope. Have a good evening.
Thanks for the call tonight. Yeah, that's what I love about the information age is when you're wrong about something on the radio, we get people calling in to let us know, and I appreciate that because that's how we learn things. A lot of times coming from listeners like you. Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Dan is in Nebraska. You're on Free Talk Live listening online. Hey, Dan.
Hey, Ian. Hey, Mark. Hey, Melanie.
Hey, what's on your mind?
I guess I just kind of had a quick question about your guys' own personal philosophy, and then I also, if I have time, have a suggestion for the show.
All right.
So, basically, I read this article in the paper the other day, or on the internet paper, about how in my neighbor state, Iowa, a lot of the people who have been going to the local political meetings have been getting really far left, and I don't know necessarily that to be true, but personally that sort of worries me. And I guess
hold on. Before you go on, people who go to all political meetings, meaning that the Republicans are turning into far left?
I was talking particularly about the Democratic
hang on,
meeting.
we're going to continue in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
Advertising your business with GCN is simple, effective, and more affordable than you might think. Visit advertise.gcnlive.com for more info. Take your business to the next level. That's advertise.gcnlive.com.
ProPure water filters. Most trusted, most tested. Right now, you can save 25% on the ProPure Nomad Gravity System. Visit an authorized ProPure dealer for details. That's PROPUR.
This just in. Before your doctor gives you another antibiotic prescription that you don't want, get this free report, The Miracle of Garlic, your first home medicine. This free report is filled with easy kitchen remedies for common colds, flus, sore throats, ear infections, and more. Plus, learn to boost your immunity before you get sick. Go now to gcnwellness.com. Just like it sounds, gcnwellness.com to get your free report, The Miracle of Garlic. Click gcnwellness.com.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too, you know.
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. It saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a little town in Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating around like that could be dangerous. Have you checked with the Consumer Product Safety Commission?
Well, not yet.
Come to think of it, you actually are flying, aren't you? Look, you need to go over to the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation...
It's very hard to get anything done these days if you're in business, but free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. A public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue, Washington.
Besides, we just can't have people floating about unregulated, you know.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll free and bring up whatever you want. You can take control of the airwaves here. With you tonight, by the way, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
We've got Skype, so Skype on in at Skype username LRN.FM if you want to sound like you're almost sitting here in the studio with us. Otherwise, you can always call us toll free, 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Mark, what do you like about your Blink home security system the most?
It's you set it and forget it. It takes care of itself. You feel like you've got that comfort of security that you're looking for without having really to do anything to maintain it. When something moves during the time frame that you've set your system for, well, you're going to get a notification.
Well, you don't forget it. In that case, it lets you know.
Right,
it's still there. It's still operating.
Right, but all I have to do is, if I know what was moving in the house at that time, then
ignore
fine.
it. Yeah.
But if not, then I can check. So I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty handy. And it was super easy to install. You did a system over at your house. We've got one here as well. You get a multicam set up there, and it was easy to connect. You just use your phone and the Wi-Fi on your phone to connect to their box, which then you link in the cameras, and then it comes, notices come right into your phone.
Yep.
It's really simple. And if Mark can do it, anybody can do it. So you can get yours by going to blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's /FTL like Free Talk Live. Blinkprotect.com/FTL. You can get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge for one at blinkprotect.com/FTL like Free Talk Live. Let's go back to Dan. He's in Nebraska. Dan, you were saying something about you'd heard that people at political meetings have been getting more hard left at Democrat meetings?
Yes. I was reading, I think it was Omaha.com. I was reading something somewhat local. So that's honestly why I guess it must have brought so much alarm to me. But after reading that in the left circles, they've been getting so much harder left, what it made me think inside is, it would be a real shame if after we get these nice libertarian policies in, that those get used to abolish them by people who maybe 20 or 30 years down the road want to have some sort of far left Marxist takeover.
Where are libertarian policies being put in place?
Where are they being put in place?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to say that what comes to mind, I guess, is the they're mostly, I hate to say it, but they're mostly freedoms that are already kind of here, or maybe it's just sort of the, my observing of how, I feel like there's a difference in treatment between, people on the right and people on the left nowadays, whereas almost being on the left can get you almost anything you do condoned by the vast majority of people in the media and academia, but It's really not the other way around.
So you're saying there's a discrepancy between how people on the right versus on the left are treated in the media. I'm not sure what that has to do with the claim that more left people.
The question kind of threw off my line of questioning. That was actually going to be a question for you, which was, if in the future people who were anti-libertarian were to use the opportunities of freedom that you've given them to turn it back on you and flip it around and take away your freedom, would you say that your efforts have been in naught?
No. So what you're describing is sort of the way of the world, where if a group gets into power, there's always going to be some other group that's trying to unseat them from that power. Now, libertarians, if they were to actually get into the government, as we've seen happen here in New Hampshire to some extent.
We have one.
You have one. Oh, right, the senator. There's a Libertarian senator there in Nebraska. So anyway, if Libertarians were to actually be able to run the government and take it over, supposedly they'd make the government smaller. Now, of course, we know that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely, so you shouldn't be surprised when you actually find the Libertarians that get elected turn out to be less than principled or corrupted themselves. So it's a real challenge to try to eliminate power structures, but you better believe that people are going to come at you, and they're going to try to bring those power structures back. I mean, just look at Colorado, for instance, or Washington State, where even though marijuana is legal, there's still a big prohibitionist push to try to make it illegal again. They want prohibition back. And it doesn't mean that the Libertarians were wrong or unsuccessful, or that the cannabis industry is wrong or unsuccessful because they have opposition. You just got to expect that. If you're going to be successful in politics, you are guaranteed to have vehement opposition that is going to come at you in every way they possibly can, including to lie about you and drag your name through the mud as much as possible, even if it's not true what they're saying about you. They'll do everything they can to fight against you, and it has no bearing on whether or not it was worthwhile or whether or not you should have done those things. I mean, the reason why we do what we do, even in the face of utter failure, because Libertarians have been failing over and over again for a long time, is because it's the right thing to do. Is because libertarian viewpoint, the non-aggression principle, is a moral principle to not aggress against your neighbors and other people in society. Leave people alone. Let them be who they want to be. I don't think it's in any way an indictment, but that's my answer. Do you guys want to weigh in?
I'm unsurprised that the liberals are having some successes where you are. I mean, the Bernie phenomenon was huge, and it makes perfectly good sense that the Bernie people would want to get more involved in the Democratic campaigns and get their ideas move forward. To me, it's sad that all the Ron Paul people decided that now it's immoral to vote. Of course, this is leftist thinking from the early 20th century. They can't logic their way out of a brown paper bag on it. But
all the Ron Paul people?
No, there's a lot of Ron Paul people that either A, sat back and licked their wounds, or B, decided
voting in 2016.
No.
Well, we didn't. All the Ron Paul people weren't exactly solid converts, so I don't know if that's a fair comparison necessarily.
There are a lot of Ron Paul people that went from "Yay, Ron Paul" to "Voting's immoral," and how they got there is beyond me.
But you said all of them. What percentage of them did?
All these Ron Paul people doesn't mean all the Ron Paul people.
Okay.
So
it means
all the
some
Ron
of them.
Paul people.
So when you say all, you mean some
non-voters.
When you say all, you mean some Ron Paul people, of which how many you don't know?
Of course not.
Okay, got it. Just wanted to make sure we're clear.
Did the Ron Paul movement really change anything in America?
Yeah, there's a lot of new libertarians because of Ron Paul.
Yeah, some of them have picked up and moved to New Hampshire.
They
but
sure
there are
have.
Almost no solutions for libertarians because working together where you are isn't very effective. It's been tried over and over again. Moving for the Free State Project is very, it's difficult. It takes a huge commitment.
Well, not everybody moves here for the Free State Project. Some people are moving as part of a larger New Hampshire freedom migration where the Free State Project is one part of a larger migration. And you don't have to, if you're not a joiner, you can just, you can just move to New Hampshire.
I don't mean to diminish that by any stretch.
Yeah.
It's just that
and that's working.
What I see from the Bernie people is either burnout or getting involved in their party locally. They already have an established party locally wherever they're going, so they've got something to work with. Whereas the Ron Paul people, what are they going to do? In many cases, they just get so angry that they come up with the solution that voting's immoral.
Well, they tried to take over the Republican Party, and then they were, turned away at every possible step. They had the Republicans make rules against them to prevent them from participating in their primaries and things like that. Melanie, did you want to weigh in on Dan's question about is it worth it?
Yeah, so as to the way he originally phrased it, or phrased it later, I think, I'm not sure how someone is going to use non-aggression to aggress against me. Because you said, what if they use it against me? And so, like that, I'm not trying to be asinine, but that's kind of a non-concept. But as far as all the pushback and we're being fought against, well, of course. I'm sorry?
An example? Like try to maybe make myself a little bit more specific in an example? Okay, so I only really two come to mind personally right now, but it would either be that, A, what if the lack of, I don't want to say maybe like policing would empower Antifa to the point where, leftist mobs could be something to fear in the future? Or B, what if you opened the borders and a bunch of people who didn't
hold that thought. We'll come back. It's Free Talk Live.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories, while I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
In an emergency, you need a fire now. But what if the wood is wet? No problem for InstaFire. Our non-toxic fire starter packs lights wet wood, floats, and can even burn on water or in any weather. Sustains winds up to 30 miles per hour, and each pouch weighs only 1.75 ounces. Need an emergency or camp stove? Get the InstaFire Inferno stove that boils 20 ounces of water in under 3 minutes with controllable heat and temps from 425 to 1500 degrees. Free shipping. Go to instafire.com and use discount code RADIO30 up to 3 times for 30% off your order. InstaFire. Fire in an instant.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. $39.95 plus shipping and handling. Use discount code GCN and receive 15% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter and get your Bug Assault today.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com. I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in 1 application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin. mymagicmud.com.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You can join us right here. Take control of the airwaves toll free, 855-450, free like freedom, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. The Skype username here is LRN.FM. Mark, let's get an update on hope.freetalklive.com. What's going on and what is it?
Well, it is a effort to build an orphanage in Genji, Uganda. We are about, I think, somewhere around $700 from completion of the campaign.
Does that mean that if our listeners donate $700 or if our listeners donate a third of $700 because there's double matching?
If our listeners donate $700,
so we're $2,100
in that vicinity.
Okay, below.
And that's all we need to finish the funding for this this great orphanage.
That's doable.
Yep, 40 kids will have a place to sleep, to get washed up, to go to school, a little place to keep their stuff, and really, I'm not saying they deserve it because I don't believe in the term deserve, but I'd like them to have it. And my life here comparatively is so much better than what these kids are starting off with. So if you want to help me finish this up, please go to hope.freetalklive.com. We're taking all kinds of different donations, whether it's in cryptocurrency or PayPal or GoFundMe. It's up to you. It's hope.freetalklive.com. And your donation will be matched by both Jax.io and GetSell411.com, meaning that $100 becomes $300.
Pretty awesome. Let's go back to Dan in Nebraska. Dan, you've asked some interesting questions here tonight. That's why we held you over through the break there. You were just talking about libertarians. If libertarians actually have political success to the point where they get their ideas through, they get rid of, let's say, the government police, and we have market-based protection services instead. You'd ask the question of, what about Antifa? What if they come along and start causing trouble, right? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but was that kind of essentially what you were asking?
That was one of the examples I gave.
So Antifa and immigration. And so for the most part, the government protects, to the extent they protect anybody, they protect everybody, whether they're guilty or not of either a crime or actual aggression. I have actually been in law school classes where they talked about the theory of punishment, and they said that there was like 4 or 5 reasons they listed off, and one of them explicitly, in some Supreme Court cases, some of the longer Supreme Court cases, explicitly say this, that one of the reasons why the state punishes people, either through jail or capital punishment, is to stave off kind of vigilante justice. So the state kind of makes this implicit bargain with the population. Okay, if you refrain from protecting yourself from the actual bad guys, then we'll have this weird system that kind of locks them up sometimes and does all kinds of just weird extraneous things. So the justice system, even sometimes by its own admission, exists very much to protect the bad guys from the people who would defend themselves and defend bystanders. So if you get rid of that system, that's actually good for the innocent people. But
meaning that if some Antifa person attacks you without the government so-called justice system,
if you don't have to worry about passing a background check, getting arrested, going to jail, you could just take care of that. And I mean, Antifa tends to attack people in places like schools and in places that are otherwise defense-free zones, gun-free zones.
Yeah, has that ever happened where they've attacked people in New Hampshire? I've never heard about it.
Or a gun,
that would
or a
surprise
place
me a
where
lot.
Open carry is legal. I'm just thinking that Antifa, least of our problems around here.
Yeah, I mean, Antifa is not a threat, and especially in the absence of the state. I mean, have you looked at some of these pictures? Like, these people can't even punch; they're gonna break their thumb. Like, they're not really that, and they're really not a threat if you're allowed to defend yourself. I mean, they're just not. As far as immigration, so in the
other question was, what about open borders? You know, bad, evil socialists could come in. Right? Was that the question?
Well, they can now.
Yes.
That was the question. Okay.
I know that they can now, but I mean, at least with the system we have now, we could try to work to prevent that.
You mean by creating a police state?
Not necessarily by creating a police state, but just basically making the background checks involved, making sure there's no socialism.
But what if I don't want a background check?
So they've had 200 years to tweak the system, and they haven't got it to the point where it's working to anyone's satisfaction.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who knows about government should know that anything the government tries, they're failing miserably.
In the absence of the state, though, everything's privately owned, and any land that is currently state allegedly owned land would be homesteadable. So, and then you wouldn't have government regulations, government protectionism. So you wouldn't have a welfare state to come to.
And we're also talking about
if these people weren't productive, then there would be no welfare state to come leech off of.
No one would want
them. If they are productive and they are acting decently, then who cares? Let them come in.
The fear is that they're going to bring their socialist ways and recreate a government, right? Isn't that the fear, Dan?
Well, it wouldn't even be at the point where the government's gone. If the borders being open would be something that would happen before any of the other libertarian things would happen. So I would assume that before you even get to that stage, you would have so many left-wing voters that you'd be kind of like
What makes
California
you believe that people who immigrate are left-wing?
Because after California gave those illegals amnesty, they never went red again.
Yeah, so I think that there's some argument for this, and it's pretty clear that Republicans have alienated the Hispanic vote. I mean,
do you think it might be because they call them illegals, like that?
Over and over again. Yeah. I mean, let's not forget that in Texas, Mexicans voted for George W. Bush resoundingly for governor, and then again in 2000 for president. Prior to this, when Republicans lost their mind on 9/11, right? Like everybody brown's got to die. It's a good thing Canada wasn't full of brown people. They'd invaded that too. But after that happened, it just went bananas. They took socially conservative people, i.e. Chicanos, Mexican immigrants, these kind of people of Hispanic heritage, and they alienated them. It's phenomenal the way the Republican Party turned that into a disaster.
When that shouldn't affect anybody, because if Rothbard rose from the dead, walked in here, and told me to F off, I'm not going to become a statist. That is not a good reason to change your mind on anything.
Well, I mean, I can understand why somebody would
conservatives in the first place.
Well, but I could understand why somebody who was being called names, being called an illegal simply because they've come, they might be brown or whatever.
But that's completely irrelevant to the question of, is this moral set the right way to act, or is this moral set the right way to act? That is completely irrelevant.
Well, we know that the Republicans and Democrats don't have
factors.
But the Republicans and Democrats don't have moral sets. I mean, they are using violence against whoever it is that they want to gain their political strength.
Well, they don't have moral sets that we agree with. It's still a moral system.
We can hash immigration out in the next hour. I want to talk about immigration into a free state. So here, if libertarians in New Hampshire have some success in creating a more free place, presumably the economy will zoom past 49 other states. Is that correct?
It should.
Okay. In that time period, if libertarians don't change the Constitution, because I'm going to presume they have not dismantled the state entirely and it doesn't become some, anarchist no-go zone or whatever, then they will have to somehow change the Constitution to the point that it makes it so difficult to pass some new law that if all these people who are coming here for prosperity, i.e. people who come across the southern border of the United States for more prosperity, they don't come with political principles. They don't say America is provides a better way of living because of its government, and then they vote for that government. They want handouts in many cases. So you've got to set the system up before it gets so prosperous that people come looking for more and more money and better places to live and that kind of thing. Otherwise, it will be impossible, and you'll just have Massachusetts.
Well, yeah, in the presence of the state, the incentive is, if you're coming from someplace poorer to someplace richer, to support the state welfare systems. So as long as you have those, the incentive is going to be vote for welfare. And most people are amoral anyway, because it is better for you personally, because you can come with no real valid or relevant skill sets, no assets. I mean, you're not even otherwise a horrible person. You just have no money by U.S. standards or by New Hampshire standards. Everybody looks exceedingly rich to you by what you're used to. So the incentive for you, from an amoral standpoint, is to just vote for welfare. So with immigration in the presence of a state, that's what's going to happen. So as long as you have a state,
are you saying there should be closed borders?
No, as long as you have a state, it doesn't surprise me that immigrants vote for welfare.
Well, most immigrants don't vote because it's not legal for them to vote, but the illegal ones.
People illegal, yeah. I mean, there's lots of immigrants that vote.
I'm talking about the so-called illegal ones, and you can't blame somebody for wanting to not listen to whatever the viewpoint of an individual might be if they've already called them names earlier in the conversation. Thanks, Dan,
but then you're not being
call.
logical.
Thanks, Dan, for your call tonight.
Surprise.
That's okay.
Humans aren't logical.
Yeah, people are emotionally driven. If you insult somebody, they're not going to listen to you. More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Kiyosaki, Rogers, and Schiff all concur there's an economic calamity that will be facing this country. My question to you is, do you know when, and are you prepared? Most people don't, but my friends over at Republic Monetary Exchange have been leading experts in precious metals to help you offset the coming economic collapse. Right now, for a limited time, they have a free book called The 10 Reasons You Should Own Gold. You simply need to give them a call at 888-772-2929 to get that in your hands. Do not allow the insiders to do what they did to you in 2008, putting your IRAs, 401ks, and savings in jeopardy. You need this book, and you need it now. The 10 Reasons You Should Own Gold. Call 888-772-2929. That's 888-772-2929. There's a reason that the largest investment banking company in the world, JP Morgan, just purchased another 50 million ounces of silver. This free book will explain it. 888-772-2929.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, October 23rd, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.90 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,274 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.3 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $5,807. Antiwar.com reports top figures within the autonomous region of Catalonia are promising to act to resist the announced takeover of their territory by the Spanish central government, saying they have no intention of complying with Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy's announcement. Catalan President Carles Puigdemont says that Rajoy's declaration is the worst attack on Catalonia since the era of Spain's military dictatorship, promising to consult with regional parliament on an appropriate response. Catalan Parliament Speaker Carme Forcadell concurred, accusing Rajoy of attempting a coup against Catalonia, adding that he wants the Parliament of Catalonia to stop being a parliament, and we will not allow that to happen. Catalonia's public remains out in force in Barcelona in support of secession, having already voted overwhelmingly for it on the October 1st referendum. They see Spain's efforts to revoke Catalan autonomy as proof that they need to declare independence and get away from Spain as soon as possible. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spend-A-Bit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend-A-Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Spendabit.co. UPI reports the city council in Honolulu passed a law last week that makes it illegal for people to smoke in a privately owned vehicle if minors are present in the car. Honolulu now becomes one of the only major cities in the United States to enact such a ban. Honolulu ordinance also applies to electronic cigarettes. Violators of the law will be subject to fines of $100 for a first offense, $200 for a second offense if within 1 year of the previous offense, and a $500 fine for a third offense if within 1 year of the second offense. Honolulu Council Chairman Rod Menner says police officers will be on the lookout for people smoking in vehicles. Similar laws have been passed in other areas of Hawaii. 8 states, including Arkansas, California, Louisiana, Maine, Oregon, Utah, Vermont, and Virginia, have statewide bans on smoking in vehicles with children present. The age of the child ranges between under 8, like in Vermont and Virginia, to under 18, as in California and Oregon. According to a 2012 study published in the journal Pediatrics, 48% of parents who smoke say they have smoked in their vehicle with their children present. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports a sea and air search was suspended on Sunday for 2 crew members who went missing after an oil barge caught fire early on Friday and leaked an undetermined amount of fuel into the Gulf of Mexico off Port Aranis, Texas. There was no immediate determination of what caused the fire, which was extinguished on Friday. U.S. Coast Guard Petty Officer Edward Wargo said the search for the missing crew members was halted after it turned up no signs of the 2. Authorities are bringing in additional floating booms to contain the oil around the barge, which is anchored about 3 miles off the coast, according to a Coast Guard spokesman. Earlier, they put out 2,000 feet of containment boom around the vessel. Efforts were underway on Sunday to seal 2 oil tanks that were breached during the early morning fire. Aerial photos released by the Coast Guard show an opening on the deck of the ship's bow. After the tanks are sealed, authorities are considering transferring some of the oil to another vessel and towing the barge to port. According to a spokeswoman for the Texas General Land Office, which is taking part in the response to the fire and oil spill, officials are exploring several different ways to move the barge. The barge, operated by Bouchard Transportation Company, holds about 137,000 barrels of oil and was headed to Corpus Christi, Texas when the fire started. A spokesman for the company declined comment on efforts to repair the tanks. The 2 tanks that were exposed during the fire, which cut through the ship's deck, hold about 20,000 barrels combined. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
The FAA has issued a reminder that any plane can crash and kill you. Deputy FAA Administrator Serena Grant.
This year, there will be more flights than ever. Any one of them could blow up in the middle of the sky without warning. That's why we're asking all Americans to tell their families that they love them before taking off.
The agency also released a list of important questions to ask yourself or your seatmate during your flight, including, should the wing be doing that? What is that whirring noise? And do all planes shake this much? They're reminding passengers that even the smallest amount of turbulence could mean you're headed toward a sudden explosive death. While hurtling through the sky at unimaginable speeds in a steel coffin can feel like gambling with your life, the FAA says there are ways to regain the illusion of control.
If you're worried about crashing, why not switch your flight at the last second? It might just save your life. Or kill you, depending on which plane crashes.
And for those who aren't flying this holiday, the FAA has reminded everyone that a plane could fall out of the sky right on top of you at any moment.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here. Toll-free number 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We launch here into the third hour of the program. As always, you're invited to join us and take control of the airwaves. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
As we continue here, you can bring up whatever you want. Let's go to the phones. To the phone, we'll talk to Ricky in Pennsylvania. Ricky, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Brother Ian, that would be the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
What's on your mind, Ricky?
Brother Mark and Sister Melanie, well, I definitely got some things on my mind tonight now, if I may. First off, I heard your last caller, and when it comes to background checks, I'll be covering that in the future. And I do agree with you on that term, Miss Melanie, but I will disagree with you on one, if I may.
Everybody does. Go ahead.
Well, I know you're an anarchist and all, but see, first of all, we'll start with Antifa. Now,
the anti-fascists?
Correct me.
Okay.
Whatever.
That's what they call themselves.
That's right. They call themselves a lot of things.
And I could call myself a millionaire and ain't make it true.
Well,
I have 1 trillion Zimbabwe dollars hanging right on the wall for you.
That makes you a trillionaire.
That's a trillionaire.
You can see Ricky from the Commonwealth hiding behind his club masters. They hide their face. I don't mind. Now, that being said,
club
look at
masters?
Skype. You can see me in my profile. Nonetheless, the fact of
Oh,
the
are those your
matter-
glasses?
Yeah, those are my club
That's not really
master
the relevant.
sunglasses.
I just want to know what a club
Anyway.
master is.
Ray-Bans, nonetheless.
Okay, all right. Now that makes more
Antifa.
sense.
You said that Antifa, the last caller. Now, he's all messed
Are
up.
you the kind of guy that wears sunglasses indoors?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you wearing them right
Do I
now,
do
like sitting in
points
your
for
own
that?
house?
What?
So what about Antifa?
Okay. Yeah, what about Antifa?
Well, you Miss Melanie, first of all, I got to disagree with you on this, and I got to make a very important announcement on Antifa. I'm not foreign to Antifa. I've been following them for years. That's what Ricky from the Commonwealth does. You said that Antifa was not dangerous.
When did she say that? Oh, you just said they couldn't punch. They didn't know how to punch.
That's what I said. May I overspoke. They're not as much of a threat in the absence of the state as they are with their state protection.
Right, because they could still throw a firebomb
Because
at
they
you.
can't fight particularly well.
But that doesn't mean they can't build
That
a
doesn't mean
Molotov
they're
cocktail.
at a 0-level threat.
Okay.
Now, if I will. Now, let's bring up a little past history. Now, you know that I happen to be, I like Jefferson Davis. Now, let's go back to Louisiana a good number of months ago. People don't talk
You're
about
tie
the Black
this
Confederates.
into Antifa.
I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
The Black Confederates. Now, this wasn't covered by mainstream media. Reason why? Well, if you're going to hit Fox News and them, well, they are very anti-Confederate. Now, the rest of the media,
You know,
just being
Fox News didn't
responsible.
exist back in the Civil War, right?
Neither did all the Confederates that are walking around today. I think he's talking about
God
current
save the
Confederates.
South. Now, think about this one. Now, they were attacked viciously by Antifa, more vicious than
Who
has
was?
ever been.
The Black Confederates. Stick with
The
us. here.
Black Confederates down in Louisiana. Now, they called in
Are we
twice
talking
on
about
radio?
Okay, so there's a group called the Black Confederates today? Is what
No,
you're
there are
saying?
Confederates that happen to be black.
Today.
Yes, and they were
Yes.
protecting Jefferson Davis. He's gone now, by the way.
I am so confused. What time frame are we talking about here?
We're talking like a couple months back when they removed the statue of Jefferson Davis. Before that, in Louisiana, they were attacked twice, viciously.
That
by
was
Antifa.
New Orleans, though.
Confederates?
New Orleans is largely a gun-free zone.
Let me see if I'm following you. You're saying Black Confederates were trying to remove they were guarding a statue?
Yes, they had
Jefferson
Confederates of both races guarding the statutes when they were trying to tear them down.
Black Confederates. Man, why you people always talk over me?
I'm asking questions. I'm trying to understand. I don't know anything about this situation. I know we reported on some of the statues that were under attack a couple months ago during the whole, fascist, anti-fascist fighting that was going on, and they were taking down statues. So what you're saying is there are people out there in the year 2017 who consider themselves to be Black Confederates who came down to defend a statue of Jefferson Davis from Antifa who was trying to attack it. Is that right?
Well, they didn't come down. They lived there.
Right.
They
Now,
went to
were
the park
viciously-
or wherever
Yeah.
it was.
They were viciously, and it was in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay.
Now, they were attacked viciously once.
How many
Now,
Black
they left.
Confederates?
The Black Confederates retreated. They were hit so hard. Okay, and there was a bunch of them, too.
I thought they couldn't hit hard. I thought Melanie said that the Antifa people are weak. They don't know how to punch.
Mistaken. I'm going to tell you even more about them.
All
Now,
right.
the fact of the matter is the announcement that your caller said about November 4th. Forget that. See, these things work in 2-week phases.
November 4th is the scheduled protest that Antifa is putting together not nationwide, but in different states around the country. It's not in every state, but it's in maybe about, a quarter of the states or a third of them.
I'm going to tell you how that working. First of all, November 4th mean nothing because November 4th ain't a real date for anything. But I'll tell you what
the 5th is, though.
I was kind of grateful for them for staying away from my moving date, but
from November 5th.
That's kind of beside the point.
It will be nationwide, I promise you. And I got a recommendation.
Okay.
First of all, the groundwork already laid. I've been trailing these people and these things for years.
In your black duster?
Down here. Okay.
With the big hat?
Don't laugh.
Oh, yeah, I gotta laugh.
Who's going to protect you? You're not in
Not you.
Protect you. Who's going to protect you from this?
From what?
From what's about to happen. She's laughing and she can't say.
What's about to happen?
Hey, I don't know. Look, you're two out of the three people in the studio pack heat.
Make it crystal clear, man. What's about to happen that people are supposed to be worried about?
This has been layered and ongoing. I have big things planned, not only for Halloween, but afterwards. Things are going to be heating up with my spots. No more laughing and joking anymore. Now, what's going to happen is that caller was right about that date, but that date mean nothing. People I know, I've been saying, you got a gun, you load it now. You be careful. Reason why? Things are getting really hot already, just in the past few days.
Not around here, man. Everything's cool here in Keene, New Hampshire.
I mean, you can't really ever tell that it's okay because you don't know what somebody else you can't say nobody else is ever planning anything, but
I can tell you right now, Antifa is not planning anything in New Hampshire.
You don't know that.
According to refusefascism.org.
It's psychological.
But you should always
layered and layered for years and years. They poisoned the minds of people in Philadelphia, turn them against the rest of the Commonwealth. Okay, that was back in 15.
Who did? Antifa?
Why do you think Philadelphia want us to secede? They believe the rest of the Commonwealth don't respect them. They're right.
Well, good. I hope they do secede.
Huh?
I said I hope they do secede, and it does look like Philadelphia is going to have an anti-fascist event.
I'll bet it is.
Coming up, refusefascism.org is the website. It's November 4th. They're going to be in, looks like Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, L.A., Austin, Omaha, Chicago, Cleveland, Philly, Pittsfield. Which Pittsfield? Is that New York? New York City and Boston. I'm not sure which Pittsfield this is. They've got...
Yeah, because they ain't got nothing upstate New York, because upstate New York don't want any part of it. They want to join us.
Because there's a Pittsfield in every one of these damn states. You know it. I mean, it's one of those New England names where there's probably a Pittsfield, Massachusetts, a Pittsfield, Maine, but they only have Boston... they only have Massachusetts and New York and Pennsylvania as the highlighted regions up here, and the cities are supposedly Boston, Pittsfield, New York City, and Philly. So I don't know where. Look out, Pittsfield.
These are cerebral
attacks. Antifa's coming to town.
Psychological attacks. That's what this is all about. That's why there's so much power in this Southern Cross I wear. These are cerebral attacks by Antifa. If they ain't CIA, I'm Abraham Lincoln.
All right, thanks for the call, Abe. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
What is a psychological attack?
I'm sorry, he's not here to answer that question at this point.
Oh, thank goodness.
I suspect that what's going to happen on November 4th is going to be a little bit more than a psychological attack. There are going to be people who are going to be out in the streets. They may get violent. They may get destructive. So people in those cities should be aware of the potential for conflict between the Antifa and perhaps the white nationalists who may show up to have themselves a fight.
Or the Antifa and whoever Antifa feels like attacking for any random reason. So just, have a gun if you can.
We'll continue. If you're in New York City, good luck with that.
Message and data rates may apply. Oh my gosh, that's Frank Thomas. No. Yes, that's him. Go ahead. Excuse me, are you Frank Thomas?
Yes, I am.
I bet you get recognized a lot.
I was a pretty good ball player.
You were?
Some people thought so.
Sorry, we recognize you from those Nugenics commercials.
Oh, yeah? That's great.
So does Nugenics really work?
Oh, yeah. I really can feel the difference. My workouts are better, and I feel a lot more energetic.
I wish my husband would use Nugenics.
It's so easy to get started. All you have to do is send one simple text.
Text the word Radio 7
877 to 42424 for a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenix, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Its unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate.
And you're going to like the difference, too.
Text Radio 77 to 42424 for a complimentary bottle of Nugenix. Samples are not available in stores. Text RADIO 77 to 42424.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1. Plus, an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are 2 Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
If you're David, a few well-chosen words can help level the playing field with Goliath. I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. Recently, I saw a Yellow Pages ad for an appliance repair company, and the headline read, "Why wait for Sears?" If you're going to the Yellow Pages, the Dead Sea Scrolls of advertising, you're ready to buy right now. So this is an attention-grabbing message. And how about the plumber whose radio ad says, "Call by noon Thursday, and we'll be there Saturday at no extra cost"? Smart guy. Most plumbing firms give their crew the weekend off. This one gives them Sunday and Monday off. In the words of a respected advertising executive, cut to the chase, make it quick, and tell me exactly what you can do for me, especially if you're looking for work. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial in toll free, bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450 free like freedom, 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
Something we were talking about with Melanie actually off the air was how her tax service, she's an accountant, she's a bookkeeper, she can help you if you're one of those poor souls who still does taxes. You can get Melanie to help you out. She's an anarchist. She hates the state, and she's going to do everything she can to help you keep the money that you've earned for yourself and your family. But what about the Bitcoin? Are there some specific techniques that you can assist? People have been asking you about Bitcoin recently.
Oh,
right,
yeah,
Melanie?
I've got a lot. I've gotten enough Bitcoin clients for it to actually disturb me. I didn't know this was going to be a thing.
Wait, does that mean they're paying you with Bitcoin?
Oh, no, I accept Bitcoin for payment for any services I provide.
You just mean people who have Bitcoin in their repertoire and want to protect it?
Right. So usually the purpose of crypto is that it's crypto.
Secret.
Right.
Yeah.
But sometimes, for varying reasons, it's known by either the IRS or some other.
Maybe you bought it on the books. You bought it at Coinbase.
Or you went to Coinbase or something like that.
Yeah.
And you have to. There's no way around, kind of. And this is kind of the unfortunate position. It's unfortunate that it gets to this point, but sometimes it does happen to where, okay, so now you need to report some of this because they already know about it.
But what if they don't already know about it? I mean, does Coinbase send out tax forms?
Coinbase is on the books.
Okay.
Coinbase operates like a regular white market company.
I didn't know if they sent out any kind of paperwork. I've never gotten anything from Coinbase. I had an account with them up until last year. They never sent me any.
You might have not had any taxable transactions.
I don't know what's considered taxable. Right. I bet you know that stuff, though.
So there are some weird rules for Bitcoin that the IRS treats it differently than some other assets. They treat it as an asset instead of as a currency. Almost just, my theory is just to save face on that. But then if you own stock, you just get a statement, you sold this was your gain was X amount of dollars.
If you
I don't have that from the blockchain, so I have to create it. So I don't know if a regular accountant would know what to do if you brought them just numbers from
They don't even know what
your
Bitcoin is. Your typical
transactions.
accountant has no idea. Maybe they've heard of it, but they're not familiar with it, right?
I'd say
I would imagine not.
It's safe to say you're one of the top 5 accountants in the nation for dealing with Bitcoin.
That's good. I'd say so. Absolutely. So folks want to reach out to you, they can do that at tax.freetalklive.com. That's a URL that'll forward you straight to Melanie's website. It's tax.freetalklive.com. So if somebody gets their Bitcoin on the books from a Coinbase, for instance, where the government could find out about it. And
Coinbase is probably telling them about it.
Well, we know that the Coinbase got sued by the IRS within the last year or so, and they did actually resist handing over the information that the IRS was requesting, as I understand it. I don't know what the status of that particular case happens to be. So if you know and you want to inform us, please do. Our toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. But if you let's say you get a whole Bitcoin, and right now that's worth about $5,800, $57, $58, somewhere in that range. If you buy a whole Bitcoin from Coinbase, but then you sell the Bitcoin, and you want to be like all reporting with the thing. If you sell the Bitcoin not on Coinbase, what if if I'm a taxpayer person and I buy a Bitcoin on Coinbase and then I sell it to Mark or somebody else, some total stranger or whatever? The IRS doesn't know that I sold it unless I told them, right? Unless I've said, "Oh yeah, I sold this Bitcoin." And
right, so just buying a Bitcoin is not a report. It's not even a reportable transaction, much less a taxable transaction. As long as we're talking about like an individual human and not some weird trust or a 401, but like talking individual humans, normal circumstances, buying it's not. So however you have your security set up, if all Coinbase did was transfer it to your wallet, whatever that paper trail is like, I mean, that depends on how well you hid that paper trail as to whether or not they know that you ever sold it. And that's when it's going to be taxable.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So if I transfer the Bitcoin to somebody in a sale, you can see what time and date that happened, and you could figure out what the rate of sale was at that time. But you'd be jumping to a conclusion, right? Like, I could just decide to sell the Bitcoin at lower than market rate if I wanted to. It's
still reportable. So, no, it depends on what. If you were talking to me, then I would know what you sold it for.
Sure, but don't you have to take somebody's word for it? You know what I mean? Like if I'm selling, if I buy the Bitcoin at $6,000 and then I sell the Bitcoin for $4,000, I've lost $2,000, right?
You know, the government doesn't really care about you buying at 6 and selling at 4, unless we're talking about 600 and selling 600,000 and selling at 400,000.
Okay.
You know, those kind of numbers start to raise their concern. At which point you're going to have to. When dealing with the IRS, you're in a situation of not they have to prove that you're guilty, but that you have to prove you're innocent.
That's no good. Well, anyway, Melanie can help you with all your questions. They're probably somewhat like mine because people also don't know how to report this stuff when it comes to the IRS. And
the IRS hasn't totally figured out what they want to. It depends on what you have going on as to whether or not there's an actual ruling yet. But yeah.
All right, so check out Melanie's service. She is available to you over at tax.freetalklive.com. And if you got like a business or whatever, you want to load up on her services before the end of the year so she can help you prepare now for what's coming down the line in April.
Yep.
So tax.
One of the few professions where it makes more financial sense to have a person on before you need them.
Let's go to Gene the Christian Anarchist in Tennessee, watching on YouTube at cam.freetalklive.com. Hey, Gene.
Hey, well, you and Mark both know what I think about the bleeping IRS.
Yep.
I have absolutely no. Hey, how you doing? I have absolutely no use for those guys, and didn't pay them for 20 years, and wound up paying a bunch of money. But anyway, that's not really what I called about.
All right.
I called about something that we talked about many, many, many years ago, which I think people need to be reminded of, and that is never listen to the media. The media lies. When the media says something, I'll take and believe maybe 20% of it. That's kind of my rule of thumb. 80% is lie, 20% is truth. The problem is you have to try and sort through the mess and figure out which part is true and which part is lies. So I just, because we're looking at the football statistics. They're saying, oh, nobody's watching the NFL because they're all pissed off at these guys that are taking a knee. And you know what? I like to watch football once in a while. I enjoy a good football game. I watch it and the stands are full. So what are they talking about? I mean, it's just lies.
They're talking about television, right?
Yeah.
The real protests are coming from the people who don't actually want to do anything, which is to say, the fans are still going to the games. The fanatics are going and spending money. They're going to the games. The people that are the half-assed protesters, they're the ones, oh yeah, I'm going to change the channel. That's my protest. That's what we're talking about there. Hang on, Gene. We'll bring you back, though. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. The question is NFL's revenue down?
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This just in. Before your doctor gives you another antibiotic prescription that you don't want, get this free report, The Miracle of Garlic, your first home medicine. This free report is filled with easy kitchen remedies for common colds, flus, sore throats, ear infections, and more. Plus, learn to boost your immunity before you get sick. Go now to gcnwellness.com. Just like it sounds, gcnwellness.com to get your free report, The Miracle of Garlic. Click gcnwellness.com.
Free Talk Live.
Having spent 8 years, 6 months, and 21 days of my life in the Florida State prison system, I'm going to say that the incidences of rape are much, much exaggerated in the media. I'm sure it happened.
It makes for interesting television shows.
Yeah. I mean, all the things that I've seen on Oz, I saw in prison, but I was there for 9 years. So, if I saw one incidence of violence where somebody got their ear bit off, okay, it didn't happen every episode.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I mean, it is a public perception, though, and people, it's almost a joke, or it's like a wink and a nod.
Yeah, sure.
Bubba's going to get you when you go to prison.
That's exactly the idea. As though sodomy somehow fixes people's broken minds. Right. That's not where they're putting that thing. So, I mean, it's not gonna jostle anything around and fix it.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us on the radio waves. Our number here, 855-450, free like freedom. 855-450-3733. And you can Skype in at Skype username LRN.FM. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
Back to your phone calls and thoughts. Of course, you can bring up what you want. Also, don't forget you can help support Free Talk Live by shopping with us. You can do that over at shop.freetalklive.com. You'll find links there to places like Walmart and others where when you click through our link, Free Talk Live will get a portion of the purchase price. So you can get your shopping done, get the stuff you want, and help Free Talk Live all at the same time over at shop.freetalklive.com. Back to the phones, and Gene the Christian Anarchist in Tennessee watching us at cam.freetalklive.com. Gene, you were talking about the media and how they can't be trusted.
Yeah, and I think that's everybody knows that, but it seems like people still fall into the trap of listening to the news and saying, "Oh my God, this happened," or "Oh my God, that happened," and they don't even, or so and so said this, or so and so said that, and they don't even question it. They don't even stop for a second and say, "Well, wait a minute, how do I know that they're telling me the truth?" Because most of the time they're not telling you the truth. And later on, it'll come out a day or two later, "Oh, we had to make a correction. This was totally wrong, blah, blah, blah." But the correction is always like, if it's in a newspaper, it's on the back of page 20 or something. Sure. But, the headlines are always on the front page. So the headlines are what people remember. So they remember the lies. They forget the truths. And everybody is being fed a bunch of BS. It's like we're all mushrooms or something, in a cave. And they just keep feeding us this BS, and people just keep eating it up. And I just wanted to caution people to not listen to the news media.
I appreciate that, Gene. Thanks for the call.
Bunch of liars.
Yep, thanks for the call tonight. That's why we got to have our own media. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that other media is telling the truth. Just because you're not mainstream doesn't mean you're telling the truth.
Yeah, I mean, just don't trust people in general as a general principle.
No doubt about it. And the more information sources we have, the more we can at least gather the different opinions on what it is that has maybe happened out there. Obviously, if you didn't see something happen yourself, then you have to take somebody's word for it. The question is, whose word do you take? Is there one person who's more, or one organization who's more honest than others? I don't know. I think the more information that we have, and we do have more now today than we ever have in the past due to the information age with the internet and the fact that anybody who wants to can go and get a WordPress blog or a YouTube channel or some other way to communicate your ideas out there. I think we're better off today than we ever have been. And the media, the old media, is in a more precarious position than they've ever been. This takes us back around to the conversation we were having in the first hour about pirate radio stations. Now, that's an old form of broadcasting without permission. That's an old form of being an independent media, and I wish we had more of those pirate radio stations out there. But now, thanks to the internet, thanks to live streaming, thanks to these video platforms, and thanks to the lowered cost of the equipment that you need, because if you want to start a podcast, for instance, you're talking about a few $100 worth of equipment at the most, really, is what you might need to buy to get a decent or semi-decent setup. Video production, it's well within the average person's grasp today to have a camcorder and an editing deck. All of this is within a matter of hundreds of dollars instead of tens of thousands or $100,000, which you might have need back in, let's say, 20 years ago, back in the mid-1990s, for instance. Back when you would have had to have used tape in order to record or film. Now it's all digital. It's so much easier. The only reason people don't do creating their own media is because it's just not their calling. If media is your calling, then there's no reason you shouldn't be involved in creating that. It's not the cost that's getting in the way today. It's not the availability. It's just your willingness to step forward and compete. And that is the tricky part today, is that there's more competition now than there ever has been in the past. And that's why you see the old media companies grasping on for relevance and holding on, as tight as they can to regulatory agencies like the FCC that they believe are going to protect them from all this competition, when in reality, the FCC's rules are just stifling the marketplace, and the fact that the competition isn't there in, let's say, broadcast radio is actually hurting those broadcasters. Maybe they don't realize it, but in my opinion, it is hurting them. Because competition rises, all boats rise, right? Like the people who continue to compete, they got to be at the top of their game if they actually have meaningful competition.
But that's what the state sells. The state sells licenses.
Yep.
Whether it's a license to broadcast or a license to do, nutritional, advice, or whatever it is, they decide who gets to play and who doesn't get to play, and that's just the game as old as it's ever been.
Yeah, the internet cat, though, is out of the bag. They really can't stop people from broadcasting there, and so they kind of had...
Now you have to cull through all the nonsense in order to be able to find the truth, because there's a lot of people talking about the craziest things.
Yeah, crazy things, fake news, but, I say bring it on. More information is ultimately better than fewer choices, even if it is a little overwhelming. And I agree. Sometimes I feel like too many choices it feels like it can be a bad thing, right? Like if you're at a grocery store and there's a zillion different types of bread or whatever it is you're looking at, or mustards, or there's so many different options. Sometimes you can be a little overwhelmed by the choices in...
Screw it, I'll just take this one.
In a marketplace, yeah. But ultimately, we're better off for having them than for not. Toll-free number tonight, if you want to join us, 855-450, free like freedom. She is Sarah in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah.
Yes, I just wanted to mention a couple nights ago, a pedestrian was killed on Central and San Mateo.
Uh-oh.
So,
these are streets in Albuquerque, New Mexico?
Well, the Central and San Mateo, that intersection, it's like the death intersection of New Mexico now.
All right.
Most accidents, most fatalities.
Okay.
But that is the very reason that the ART, the new bus line, that's the very reason why that bus line is being built.
No, it's not. The reason why they're building the bus line is because it's a boondoggle and the millions of dollars are going to be poured into some construction contractor. Nobody's proposing a bus line because somebody gets hit by a car every now and then.
No, it's not. No, that is the worst intersection of the entire state.
I don't deny that it's the worst intersection. I don't know. I've never been there. We'll take your word for that. But just presuming that's true, every city has a bad intersection.
It was enough for the federal, the federal people that does the traffic safety, and then they came down and they said, do something about it. So the answer was, well...
No, the federal people come in and they offer grants to different areas, or the area comes to the federal people and they ask for a grant, and then they say, oh, okay, well, we'll give you this $10 million if you can come up with $10 million from the taxpayers. And then this big boondoggle of a project goes through, which, as you've described previously, this ART thing, Albuquerque Rapid Transit. This is a boondoggle that has involved destroying and tearing up Route 66, kind of one of the iconic routes down in the Southwest, and making it difficult for business owners to have people come into their business during construction. Business owners were protesting this. There was major pushback against it. And that's not because they want to have people die in the streets, or that because the tram operators want to stop people from dying. They just want money. They just want a construction contract. Some sweetheart deal was given to somebody who's connected to the Albuquerque city government, and they got this, probably some no-bid contract or whatever. And it's always that way. It's always the good old boy network.
How about this? Well, you know that our new mayor is expected to be a Democrat, Tim Keller. Well,
that's not a surprise.
He wants to build another ART all the way down to the airport, another line. How about this?
Sounds terrible.
Getting like 45%.
Thanks for the call tonight, Sarah. It sounds like a terrible idea. Just because you're going to tear up the streets, you're going to take actual lanes of traffic and turn them into a bus lane. You're going to turn them into this tram or rapid transit thing or whatever. You're literally losing, I think the last time we talked about this, or one of the last times we talked about it with her, you would lose 3 lanes of traffic, or 3 or 4, some large amount, and you'll get 1 bus lane out of it. I mean,
what
it's
a
just
great
crazy.
deal.
Just crazy. More coming up here in moments. 8:55, 450, free like freedom. You can bring up whatever you want. And we got a Florida story on the way.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown, not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Google has all but banned the movie series What Would Muhammad Do? It's a brilliant film on the true history and goals of Islam. This is the film Trump's enemies and holdouts from the Obama administration are terrified you will see. Pro-Islamic groups working with Google and other multi-billion-dollar corporations have vowed to suppress the distribution of What Would Muhammad Do? When you see it, you'll understand why. Get your copy while you still can. Order the 4-DVD collection today for $39.95 plus shipping and handling. Or go online and download the entire movie series for just $19.95. But wait, for those who order in the next 30 minutes, we'll throw in a 9-part series on the Muslim Brotherhood absolutely free. Go to wwmdfilm.com or call 304-289-3700 now. That's wwmdfilm.com or call 304-289-3700 now.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
All right, so this is the final segment of Free Talk Live, and we're going to try something that's just a little bit different. I am Mark Edge, and I have been doing the Edgington Post podcast now for many years, like 5 or 6 years, and it's basically an interview podcast. I have done things a little differently here and there, and you're going to get an opportunity to hear it, because what we're going to do now is take the final segment of Free Talk Live, sometimes, certainly not every show, probably not most shows, take the final segment, and we're going to pop in a portion of the interview, the first portion, and then we'll do the remainder of it on the podcast. So that'll give the podcast listeners, it'll be easier for them. They'll be able to get the interviews that they're used to getting rather than downloading 2 different podcasts. They'll be able to just download Free Talk Live and get the Edgington Post as it was originally made, a post show for Free Talk Live, hosted by a guy named Edgington. And also, it'll give the radio listeners an opportunity to hear the product and, get interviews and voices that they would not otherwise hear. There are many people who would never call in to a radio program who are very important to hear. Many of them are newsmakers, and, I want to be able to talk to them, and I'm sure you want to be able to hear them. Those newsmakers are going to comment on a variety of different things, and they're going to be well worth hearing. So please, I hope you enjoy this project that I've been working on. It's called the Edgington Post, and we can go ahead and get right into it. So today I brought in Rachel Alexander. And Rachel, are you there?
I'm here. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. You're from The Stream. Can you briefly describe The Stream to me?
Yeah, it's an online news source championing freedom, smaller government, and human dignity with emphasis on Judeo-Christian values. And we were founded by the televangelist James Robison almost 3 years ago.
Excellent. So I've got you here for is to talk about the stuff that's going through the Supreme Court. There's been a big shakeup there with the unfortunate death of